Good afternoon.
Call to order the Finance Committee meeting for August the 8th, 2017. Our first item of business is a special recognition from the mayor at this time.
We have Employee of the Month that we want to recognize. If everybody join me down front. Susan, nobody knows who to claim you, whether Rick's going to claim you or Gary, or they're going to fight over you since you're new in Gary's department, but come and join us if you would. Susan Ross has been working for the City of Muskogee since June of 2013. She spent the last 4 years in the Parks and Recreation Department and was recently promoted to Planning Department, where she is now Planning and Community Development Office Administrator. While working in parks, Susan enjoyed putting all of the quotes together for the parks events, and she has enjoyed the purchasing aspect in that position. She says she has a lot to learn about planning, and she'll be taught in there, but it will be interesting and exciting to learn new things and to be a part of that department. Susan is excited about working at the city, at City Hall, because it feels like she grew up here because her mother has worked here since before Susan can remember. That's pretty cool. Susan is married and has 2 children. She enjoys the outdoors, loves to kayak, and loves to cook. That's good because we love to eat, don't we? A lot of her free time is spent doing homework, as she is currently attending NSU and plans to graduate in the spring of 2018 with a bachelor's degree in organizational leadership. Susan also loves to attend Life Church in Broken Arrow. Congratulations on your award and your recent promotion as well. We want to shake your hand and we'll give you a certificate. So come on and say congratulations to you. Thanks.
Go to school, kids. Come on. You should teach us how to plan.
Pretty good. 2 days of planning, Sherry gets Employee of the Month.
What's that called? Organizational leadership. Yeah, at its best. How about if I hand this to you? And I'll just set that back.
I would just like to say thank you for the recognition, and I think it's a huge blessing and honor to work for the City of Muskogee. Thank you.
Thank you. Rick or Gary, anybody coming?
Well, hey, Susan, you can't leave yet. When Susan first came to work, we couldn't get her to string 2 sentences together. She was the most bashful, shy thing you have ever met. And by the time of her promotion and her move to City Hall, we couldn't get her to be quiet. But in truth, she has done so much for our department, and I hope that she will be as big an asset to you guys as she was to us.
Everybody we talked to prior to getting Susan in our department, everyone we talked to says she's an excellent employee, does great work. So we think she'll fit in perfectly in the planning department.
Anything you want to add?
That's what I said. 2 days of work, day off.
All right, item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of July 18, 2017.
Reviewing of the minutes, are there any corrections or additions?
Move the approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item number 1 passed. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments July 13, 2017 through August 1st, 2017.
Do we have a report from the Purchasing Committee?
Yes, sir. The purchasing committee met earlier today and reviewed the report of claims, and I move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item number 2 passed. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval to accept the proposal from Premier Columbaria for Green Hill Cemetery Cremation Gardens and Columbarium Project, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Eric Reeves.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members. I'm here today to consider the approval to accept the proposal from the Premier Columbarium for Green Hill Cemetery Cremation Gardens, or take other necessary action. A little bit of background: we sent out proposals for the Columbarium project, and we only received 2 bids the first time. There were some issues. We resent out. We received 3. Being Wilbert, Memorials, Tribute, and Premier. Upon all the process of scoring them, and based on price, we have scored Premier having the best score. So we are asking for approval of the proposal for Premier Columbarium. Again, just a little bit of background on the Columbarium project, what it is. It's 240. It's going to be a 242 niche, 5-piece, 242 niche columbarium set that will be in our cremation gardens for cremation purposes there at Green Hill Cemetery. Yeah, and the funding is coming out of our perpetual care fund. It's already been set aside, and the cost for the best bid Premier was $46,242. I think we had like $60,000 set aside for it, so we're under budget for it.
Move the approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Where was this in comparison to the first bid? I didn't recall what the first bid was.
The first time the bids went out, we were right at $49,000.
Okay.
So it's under. Yes. The $49,000 was not a complete bid.
Yeah, I knew there were some concerns about the first bid.
Yes, the first bids, they lacked several details. One of them was actual planning for some decoration around the columbarium. All the new bids have that for landscape, and so it's actually quite a bit lower. Matter of fact, Wilbert was the lowest the first time, but their new proposal with the landscaping was about $10,000 higher. So,
Appreciate y'all taking the effort to rebid this and get it right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item number 3 passed. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval to ratify and to extend for a 1-year period an agreement between the City of Muskogee and PRA Government Services, LLC, DBA RDS, for an amount not to exceed $30,000 for tax auditing services or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, we entered into agreement with RDS after meeting with them and talking with other cities who use them to make sure that the revenue that was due the city was being remitted properly to the city. We've used them over the past few months, and they've identified additional funding that will be coming our way. As I notified the city council that this was needed to be ratified by the city council because it's going to be above my spending authority as we move forward, and I want to make sure you guys knew. I think they've done a good job for us in improving our revenue forecasting. So I recommend we approve that. The amount of revenue that they'll bring in will more than cover, substantially more than cover the cost of bringing them in.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item number 4 passed. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval to award the lowest bids pursuant to the AFG grant as follows. A, Fire Blast Global in the amount of $57,711.40 for the delivery, setup, and training of a car fire training prop and a mobile LPG flange training prop. B, STTS, Safe Transportation Training Specialist, in the amount of $84,411 for the delivery, setup, and training of cargo tank training props, or take other necessary action.
Chief O'Dea.
Yes, in October of 2016, Council approved accepting an AFG grant from FEMA. Since then, we have researched and we've gone out for bid for a mobile fire training prop, a LPG mobile flange, and some cargo tank props. We got the bids back for the car fire prop and the mobile flange. Fire Blast Global was the low bid. The other cargo training props are a proprietary product. STTS is the only company that makes those, so they are sole source. So we are ready to request the funds from FEMA to make these purchases. Recommend approval and be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Okay, item number 5 did pass, and that was the final item for the Finance Committee.
So we'll now call to order the Public Works Committee meeting. Item number 1.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of July 18, 2017.
Any additions or changes?
Move the second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 2.
Consider approval of Ordinance 4024A, amending the City of Muskogee Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 78, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 5, Driving, Overtaking, and Passing, creating Section 78-171, definitions, composing, sending, reading text message while a vehicle in motion, penalties, providing for increases in fees, exceptions, providing for repealer, severability, and declaring an emergency, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Tucker, you want to take this first? You want Mr. Hall to have it?
I'll handle that, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, we're asking that this action this item be stricken, and we will take the opportunity and retool the ordinance and bring it back for your consideration on Monday night. We determined that there was a conflict from what we were proposing to that which was allowed under state law. State law creates 2 categories of penalties for texting and driving. One for non-commercial, your average person who's driving down the road, and that's limited by state law to $100 plus costs. The second category of commercial drivers does allow for an increased penalty of up to $500, but again, that only applies to those commercial drivers and drivers of public transport. The current ordinance that we have in effect only has one category, and that's any driver. The ordinance that has been proposed creates an additional penalty of up to $400 for that one category. So when we retool, we'll create the 2 categories of commercial and non-commercial drivers and set the fines for your consideration in accordance with that which is allowed by state law. So apologize for the mix-up, but we'll have that ready to go on Monday night.
So no action necessary? Correct?
Correct.
Item number 3.
Consider approval of a preliminary and final plat of Oasis Community Church Edition consisting of one lot on 8.39 acres located at 800 West Peak Boulevard, or take any other necessary action.
Mr. Garvin.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, the applicant, Grace Ministries, is requesting approval of a preliminary and final plat of Oasis Community Church Edition consisting of one lot on 8.39 acres. The property is located at 800 West Peak Boulevard. It is directly east of Love Bottling, north of Dowtile on Peak Boulevard, just to kind of give you an idea of the location. Basically, they're proposing to build a new church on the property. The area you see highlighted in green that's labeled New Church is where it will be located. The area that's kind of a blue color, existing church, The existing church evidently a few months ago during one of the storms was picked up and twisted to some degree. And therefore, they're going to demolish that church and build the new church. The property previously had never been platted. Since they're building a new church on the property, they were required to plat the property. And that is the reason for this. This item's been recommended for approval by staff, subdivision review committee, and planning commission. Be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Garvin?
Move for approval.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 4.
Consider approval of relocating the regional distribution site warehouse for medical countermeasures from the Civic Center to the Emergency Management Warehouse located at the fairgrounds, and further authorize the use of Hatbox facility as a point of distribution for inoculations in the event of a pandemic or take other necessary action.
Mr. Balding.
Basically, item number, or the first one would be a memorandum of understanding between us and the Muskogee County Health Department. For the Hatbox facility, in the event that we have a major catastrophic pandemic that we need to do inoculations. Basically, it's boo on the flu on a large scale. The second one would be use of the emergency management facility over at the fairgrounds as a distribution warehouse. This replaces the use of the Civic Center. In the event that we have something happen, a catastrophe of some kind, we may need to use this Civic Center as a shelter or other needs. This also allows us to have security. We can lock the building down, limit access, so forth.
Any questions?
Move for approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions or thoughts? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number
Thank you.
5. Thank you, Mark.
Receive update on the City of Muskogee Housing Rehabilitation and Revitalization Program, Foundation 400 Demolition Program, and the City of Muskogee Housing Incentive Program.
Mr. Garvin, I know you're proud of this one.
Yes, yes. And I estimated that the Public Works and Finance would be over at 5:11 today, so I've got to talk 41 minutes on this item, so bear with
We
me.
have a special call, brother. No, you don't. You have 5. Start the timer.
These are 3 programs that we are very proud of, and we try to give you an update on them about every August of each year when we close out the grant programs. And we're going to talk about the Rehabilitation Revitalization Program, which is our housing program, the Foundation 400 Demolition Program, and the Owner-Occupied Single-Family Incentive Program. And we'll start with the housing program. And I know you've heard all this stuff before, but just in case someone's watching who is not aware of the program, they'll kind of know what the guidelines are for each one of these. First of all, in the housing program, the applicant must own the property and occupy the property. This is home ownership that we're working towards, or the houses we're working on. You must be within a certain income level, the low to very low income bracket, and located within a target area. And I'll go over the target area in just a minute. The income levels, we use the HUD guidelines. They do change a little each year. These are the 2017 income levels. One person's $30,200 up to 8 person, which is $56,900. The outside the property must be clean, well maintained. In other words, if there's code violations, high weeds, grass, trash, we can reject your application. If the cost of repairs exceed the appraised value of the structure is another reason why we could reject the application. All the applications we get are ranked based on a point system that we have established, and they are repaired according to that ranking system. As I said, this is a home ownership program. It's got to be, you got to live there, so commercial property and rental properties cannot participate in this program. There is a max amount of $20,000 per structure, and it is for exterior repairs only. By exterior repairs, I mean roof, exterior painting, siding, foundation repairs, structural, doors, windows, weatherization, and driveways. When we started this program, we actually took an area just a little bit larger than the original town site and broke it down into 10 manageable areas we could work with. Currently, we have completed areas 1 through 7. We are now working in area 8. Just to give you an idea on area 8, the boundaries, north and south is bound by Shawnee and Martin Luther King. East and west is 24th and Main Street. That is the area we're currently working on and currently accepting applications within that area. Just to give you a status from when we started the program, in Area 1, we received 64 applications. Of those, 47 met the requirements, and we repaired 47 structures. Area 2, we repaired 21. Area 3, 24. Area 4, 34. Area 5, 43. Area 6, we did 21. Area 7 was 25. And Area 8, we've done 20 and still have 14 more to go. So total, we did 235 structures. During the FY 2016-2017, this one we just closed out here in July, we repaired 16 structures at a cost of $300,000 through a grant from the City of Muskogee Foundation. The average cost for this grant cycle was $18,750. Of the total, that's been the 235, we spent just under $4 million. And the average cost of all 235 has been $16,658. Now, this upcoming grant cycle, the 17-18 grant cycle year, our funding was reduced. We only have $100,000 to work with this year. We'll only be able to repair most likely 5 structures, and those 5 structures are currently out for bid now. They may be on the next agenda to award the bid. I'm not for sure, but they are currently out for bid. Here's just a few pictures of some before and after. As far as accomplishments, what have we done in this program? As I stated, there was 235 structures repaired at a cost of just under $4 million. Also, during that same process, we partnered several different years with World Changers and with Mission Serve. And through that partnership, in addition to the 235, we did 78 additional structures with that same amount of funding. World Changers, in 07, we did 5 structures. 08, we did 10. 2010, 14. 2011, we did 12. 2013, we did 16. With Mission Serve in 2014 and 2015, we partnered with them for additional 21 structures. So basically, since we started this program, we have made repairs to 313 structures. Some additional benefits or accomplishments that this program has done for the City of Muskogee is a lot of the properties where we went in and did the exterior repairs, some of the property owners went in and made repairs to the inside, which is what we was hoping for. We would put the work on the outside, get the curb appeal, get the property values. They would go inside and do some work. We've had some do that. We've also had some abutting property owners. Once we repaired this house, got the new siding, roof on, well, now the houses next door look bad. Some of those property owners had made some repairs to their structure. So it's had some additional benefits. And some information that Tish used when she submits what this program has accomplished through the foundation. Under the citydata.com website, median housing income values within the City of Muskogee has increased 67% from 2000 to 2013. We feel like the program, not only this program, but the demolition program and the other programs that the city are doing, played a role in that increase. Now I'll move on to the Foundation 400 program, the demolition program. Just to let you know, we've been doing demolition for years. We've been using community development block grant funds. Over the last 15 plus years, we spent about $3.3 million demolishing structures. During that time, under the CDBG, we were demolishing about 50 to 60 structures annually. However, we were condemning 80 to 100 annually. So we were condemning more than we were demolishing. Because of that, we ended up with a backlog of well over 400 dilapidated structures. That's at the point where we went to the foundation and applied for a grant to do some demolition, a lot of demolition in a short period of time. The City of Muskogee Foundation approved the grant. The grant was matched with capital improvement program funds, which was approved by the voters. So with that project, that basically we started demolition in February of 2015. And between February and July, we demolished 100 structures. Between August 2015 and December 2015, we did 85. Between January 2016 and July 2016, we did 88, and from August to July, we did 64. So through the Foundation 400, we demolished 337 structures. The total cost on that was just under $1.6 million. Now, originally, the grant was for $1 million from the foundation and $1 million matched with CIP. We ended up taking $200,000 or $300,000 of that and transferring over into the incentive program, and it reduced our grant and reduced our match. So our total was $1.6 million on this grant. The average cost on demolition is $4,733 per structure. Now, since February 2017, there's actually been 562 structures demolished since we started this program. Foundation 400, as I just stated, was 337 structures. We kept on with the Community Development Block Grant Funds. With it, we did another 120, and then individual property owners, 105. And that's something to be impressed by individual property owners doing 105. I don't think we've had 105 do their own in the last 15, 20 years or longer. It's been very difficult. I think the main reason for that is since we had the money available and we were demolishing them very quickly, I think the citizens understood that if they didn't either demolish them themselves or repair them, that we was going to have a dozer on the ground demolishing it. So it's made a big difference. So again, 562 total demolished, just a little over or just under 2.1 million total cost if you count the individual and the CDBG. Here's a couple of before and after pictures. Not a lot to show on demolition. You see a dirt lot. But here's kind of a map we put together to kind of show you where the demolition has occurred. And as you can see, the large majority is within the core, kind of the regional town site, but that's where the oldest housing stock in Muskogee is located also. As far as accomplishments, again, 562 demolition permits issued and structures razed or demolished. In addition to that, of the ones that was condemned, 133 of those were repaired by property owners. And we have an additional 52 permits that are currently issued for them to repair. So basically, we've had 747 condemned structures either repaired, demolished, or under construction in the last 2.5 years, roughly. That is something to be very proud of, we think. Here's just another FYI on the Community Development Block Grant. From 1997 till 2017, we demolished just under 1,000 structures at a cost of $3.3 million. So in 20 years, we did 969 condemned structures. And if you look at it as far as getting condemned structures off the list, 2.5 years, we did 747 compared to 20 years doing just under 1,000.
Sure helps catch up the backlog.
Yes, yes. Now we'll move on to the Housing Incentive Program. Basically, this program was created to encourage residential development within the city of Muskogee, particularly on infill lots. With the demolition program going on, you take 600 structures, demolish them, you have a lot of infill lots. And we want to put together a program to try to encourage someone to come in and build on these infill lots. You get 1 or 2 structures started, it brings up the property values in the neighborhood. At some point, it'll get to where it's feasible for someone to go in there and build on an infill lot without having to have an incentive. And that's our goal. The program provided cash rebates for construction of new owner-occupied single-family dwellings. We'd also waive permit fees. Could also reduce the water rates for a short amount of time, or water, sewer, and trash rates. And we provide lots at no cost. We've given away a lot of lots here recently to people at no cost with the condition that they build a structure on the property. The condition is the new single-family dwelling has to be built on site, comply with the international codes, and contain 2 or more bedrooms. The total amount of the cash incentive shall not exceed $25,000, and it's based on the following, which if you build a home and the cost of the home is $100,000 or less, it's 25% of the value. So if it cost you $100,000, you would receive $25,000. The owner would pay, or whoever buys the home would pay $75,000. If the cost was between 100,000 and 150,000, it reduced to 20%, 150 to 200, 15%, and 200 to 300, 7.5%. I think every incentive we've given's been basically between probably 100 to 150,000. We haven't had any that can get anywhere close to 200 or 300,000. Infill lot, we gave a definition for an infill lot, which is a vacant lot within a built-up area that was previously developed with a structure. So basically, if it had a structure that was demolished, no matter what age the neighborhood was, it was considered an infill lot. We do know, though, that we had some properties, older neighborhoods that's never been developed, but the houses within that neighborhood were 40, 50, 60 years old. So we said if you have a lot that you want to build on it under those circumstances, you can go to Planning Commission and get approval to participate in this incentive program. In order to receive the incentive, you had to do a couple things. One, you had to use all local contractors, and you had to buy all your material locally. So that was one of the conditions of receiving the grant. And then we did place a mortgage on the property for 5 years, and we would reduce that mortgage 20% each year during those 5 years. We will make sure that these properties are home ownership and they stay into home ownership for at least 5 years, because that's the length of the mortgage. Again, we received a grant from the City of Muskogee Foundation, the amount of $300,000. We did do a budget amendment and transferred a couple $100,000 from the demolition fund to increase it to $500,000. So based on the $500,000 and the maximum amount, there was 20 dwellings that could be built underneath this program. Here's some pictures of some of the dwellings that was built through this incentive program. And here's some that's just starting construction, because we have I think 7 or 9 is currently under construction. Here's a map that kind of shows the location of the 20 structures. You can see, and it's kind of hard to see, but the legend will give you the address and the builder name. As you can see, like Louis Slape, he really took advantage of this program. He took a lot of the incentives and built a lot of homes. As far as accomplishments, we've got 20 new single-family dwellings built on infill lots, and getting one built on the infill lot is an accomplishment. We've got 20 new dwellings that are owner-occupied, not rental units, because we support home ownership, and that's what we wanted this program to go towards. And of course, all 20 was built with local contractors, and all the material was bought from local vendors. That's basically just a quick update on the 3 programs. I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have on any of those programs.
Any questions for Mr. Garvin? Gary, thank you very much. No action necessary. No citizens wish to speak to this committee, so we are adjourned. You did that in one breath.
We will now call to order the special call meeting of the Muskogee City Council. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bob Coburn,
Here.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Janie Boydston.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Hale.
Here.
Ivory Van. Derek Reed.
Here. Items 1A and B.
Consider an executive session to discuss and take possible action on the following. A, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the lawsuit styled Glover and Associates, Inc. versus City of Muskogee in the District Court for Muskogee County, Oklahoma, case number CJ-2017-263, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. B, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Patrick Deegan, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
Now consider a motion regarding executive session.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comment or question? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. We'll now consider ourselves in executive session. We'll now reconvene from executive session. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bob Coburn.
Here.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Janie Boydston.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Kale.
Here.
Ivory Van. Derek Reed.
Here.
Items 1A and B, Mr. Tucker.
Thank you, Mayor. Pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, the City Council did convene an executive session to discuss the lawsuit styled Glover and Associates, Inc. versus City of Muskogee, case number CJ 2017-263. After being fully briefed on that new lawsuit that was filed against the city and thoroughly discussing the claims made against us, the appropriate motion would be for the council to make in the defense of the lawsuit, authorizing the city attorney to assert any and all counterclaims that may be available to the city.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comment or discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item B, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, the council did convene an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Patrick Deegan. After being briefed on the status of that claim, no action is necessary. Mayor?
That completes our agenda. Thanks for helping us with this meeting.